Good morning and welcome to Hope, Faith, and Joy Daily Devotion with me, Pastor Amanda. We are looking at Esther chapter 3 today. And so we are introduced to a new character in the plot at this time of our story. And so we are found that we have Haman, who has been advanced to the highest seat of all the officials. And he's at such a high place that the king requires everybody to bow down to Haman. And the servants and everybody has to do this. And so with this promotion, um, there are some people who start to notice that Mordecai is not bowing down to Haman. And so, it's interesting that it says the scripture tells us that these officials go to talk to to Mordecai a couple of times to be like, what's up with this? Like, you're supposed to be bowing down. It's kind of like they're giving you, like, let's see what's going on, make sure you got the information right and all this kind of stuff. So they're doing that. And so then they go report to Haman. They're like, well, there's this guy Mordecai, and he says that because he's a Jew, he doesn't have to bow down to you. So he's got other rules he gets to live by. And we are told that this infuriates Haman. And it's kind of like this dramatic response. Because remember, when Vashti wouldn't respond to the king, they made it so that all women had, like, everybody, they just exploded it from something between a man and a woman, and then it became like every woman in the kingdom must bow down to her husband. I mean, just bam, this big thing. Haman does the same thing. He's frustrated with Mordecai, but instead of just dealing with Mordecai, he decides to make a plot against all of the Jews in the area. And we find that there is this special day that's given a lot. So they kind of draw it out of a box. And this is the day that any kind of decree can happen. It's kind of like a free for all almost. And it just so happens that Haman decides that, all the Jews are going to have to be annihilated on this one day. And so the king has approved it. He puts his seal, his ring finger on that. And again, we get to see the Persian postal system at its best. And so then letters go out to all the country, all of the empire, to prepare themselves for this day when all of the Jews will be killed on this one day. And so this chapter, this part of the drama ends with this. The king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city of Susa was thrown into confusion. And so there's this recognition that, again, as in yesterday, the king, with all of his power, um, is unaware of how he is affecting the whole countryside. He doesn't even give it. He's like, I'm just out having a nice glass of wine, and why are you guys having so much trouble? Like, I just told you annihilate everybody. But in a way, it's almost like the king doesn't even realize what he's done. He really just let Haman make a decision. He put his ring on it and letting it go. So we're talking about this power and how the king has this power to do anything, but he kind of just gives it away nonchalantly to somebody else and doesn't pay attention that it's technically his responsibility. So we just see this king who is a bit unaware. Unaware is about the best word I can find for him right now. And so again, we're seeing that he's being influenced by the wrong people. He has counsel. We know that. He's got 7 counselors, but he doesn't seek them out. He just puts his trust into this one man this one time. And we're going to see what happens in that when he doesn't seek counsel. And of course, again, this is in contrast to yesterday, where Esther did seek counsel. She sought counsel from Mordecai. She sought counsel from the eunuch in order to help her navigate her path. And so I think that's important for us to, again, realize that how are we seeking counsel on the decisions we're making, on being aware of who are we affecting by our decisions. Our decisions are never just affecting ourselves. Others are affected. And so I think that's important for us to be aware of. So that's chapter 4 for today. So thanks for joining me. Just a little update. Next week, in the middle of the week, I'm going to head to annual conference for my work, and so some of these might be pre-recorded next week, so that I can get my work done there. But I will continue to have devotions for you in the coming week, even though I might not be able to do it personally at that time. But thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a beautiful weekend.